Hello, first graders. Today your story is out of the reading book with the caterpillar on the front. Get your reading book out and get ready to read. Today we'll be reading a story that begins on page 132. This is a story about a trip to the forest. Let's see what your book says. In the next story, you will find out about a class field trip to the forest. Do you remember what a field trip is? It's when your class at school gets into a bus and leaves the school to go to somewhere else where you can learn something new and interesting. Let's look at today's words to know. Are you ready? Words to know. About, tiny. Because, tells. Draw, loves. Happy, planted. Teacher, added. And part. All of these words were discussed in your high frequency and spelling videos this week. So if you don't know them yet, go back and watch those videos again. Let's move to page 133 and try our practice sentences. Number 1, you read it first and I will read it in just a second. We ask our teacher about her day in the forest. Number 2, she tells us how she planted a tiny tree. Number 3, she has added to part of the forest. Number 4, we draw a picture of the forest. Number 5, our teacher is happy because she loves the picture. Here is the picture the students drew for their teacher. You need to draw one like that for us when you get back to school. All right, let's turn the page. On this page, you see the author and the photographer. What is the difference between a photographer and an illustrator? Do you remember? An illustrator draws pictures. A photographer uses his camera to take pictures. In this story, we have a photographer. The title of our story today is The Forest. This is a story about a teacher and her student who go to the forest. Look at our strategy focus for today. When you finish reading, use your own words to tell what you learned about the forest. You will get the chance to do that in your practice book, so make sure you pay careful attention. Let's turn the page and get started. Today, our class is taking a trip to the forest. We will learn about the plants and trees that grow there. We will also learn about the animals that make their home in the forest. Our teacher tells us this is a pine tree. The squirrel loves the tiny nuts that grow inside the pine cones. This tall tree is a spruce. It has pine cones that hang down. This big oak tree has a very thick trunk. Squirrels eat its acorns. You can tell what tree a leaf is from by its color and shape. It is fun to look at leaves. Teacher is teaching them all sorts of things about the forest. The trees in the forest give us wood for paper and homes and many other things we need. We must be very careful in the forest. One spark can start a big forest fire. The fires kill the trees and hurt the animals. We like the forest. It is very beautiful and is home for many interesting birds, bugs, animals, and plants. Many different types of mushrooms also grow in the forest, but we must be careful not to take any because they may be poisonous. That was one of our vocabulary words. We sit in the forest and draw pictures of trees. Then we label every part of the tree: the leaves, branches, trunk, and bark. We dig holes and plant little trees ourselves. We tie them to stakes to keep them straight, press the soil down, and water them well. When they grow, we will be proud to have planted these trees and happy that we have added something to the beautiful forest. Have you ever been in a forest? Let's see if you can answer these 3 questions about our story. Think about the story. Number 1, what do you think was the best part of the trip to the forest and why? I can't answer that for you because it says, what do you think? Number 2, why do you think the children planted trees at the end of the story? What do you think? And number 3, why is it important to have forests? Think back to what we read. What things are made from the trees in the forest? All right, it's your turn to read the story on your own. Make sure you read with expression and understand the story well before moving on to your practice book. Happy reading, first graders. Bye-bye.